Hello, what is up guys? I don't know why I look so white. Why do I look like so pale and washed out? Like I've tried like 3 different lighting spots. I don't know what's going on today. So excuse the horrible lighting. I'm not going to be here for too long anyway because we have a lot to get through this video. I wanted to make a video a while ago which was talking about my new workout split, my new training split, and then quarantine happened and so I was like, oh damn, can't do that now because everyone's training life has changed completely. So I was like, no, it's chill, calm. I'm gonna make a whole video just like a week of at-home workouts. So my training split right now, I don't have a particular training split. I, for the last sort of like 2 weeks or so, have just been trying to enjoy my workouts, have fun with them, and kind of just move for the sake of moving and because it feels good, rather than being like hooked up on like not losing gains, because I know a load of people are. That's like not good for your mental health. Like, chill, there's a literal pandemic going on. There's more important things going on in the world than you losing your bloody gains, like. But I thought it would be a really good idea to basically just put like a whole video together which is just all of my workouts from a week to week basis, so from Sunday through to Saturday, showing you my actual workouts, talking you through them, and basically just sort of giving you some ideas of what you can do at home. Some of them you will need equipment for. I have tried to keep the equipment like to a minimum, and then anyway, with a lot of the exercises, if you don't have that equipment, you can always like substitute it and work around it. Like there's always ways to adapt and work around and to make the current situation that we have work. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up so you guys can get into the video and get into the workout. The rest of the video is basically just going to be all of my workouts from day to day. You're going to be voiceovers throughout the workouts, talking you through the movements or how I've like adapted them for home and stuff like that. So I hope it's helpful because it took me ages to edit it. And voiceovers aren't my strong suit because if you haven't noticed, I have a lisp. So that is it for me. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking or I will talk forever. But if you do like the video, don't forget to, you know what to do, like, subscribe, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you get into the first workout, which is shoulders, I think, so enjoy that. Okay, so Monday is shoulder day. Now, with my shoulder workouts, I actually like to have a whole workout specifically just for shoulders. I know a lot of people sometimes like to put it into just a push day with chest if shoulders isn't like a massive goal of yours. But for me personally, I have to have like very strong shoulders. I use my shoulders a lot. So for me, shoulders are really, really important. So they get their own separate day because they're special. Now, the equipment used for this specific workout is heavily dumbbells, and there is a resistance band in there as well. Now, for this specific workout, you could adapt and swap some of the equipment. So if you didn't have dumbbells, you could very well do them with resistance band. If you've got the long like tubular like resistance type bands, what you can do is basically like step on them and then use them, say like for an example, a front raise or a lateral raise. You can step on them and have them coming out to the side and use them like that. So there are alternatives of what you could do, and then if you don't have a resistance band but you have dumbbells, you should be fine. The only one that you may struggle with is the warm-up shoulder rotations, but then I would probably just do them without the bands.
Okay, so starting off, obviously we need to start with a warm-up. Now, whatever workout you're doing, I want you to be starting with a warm-up, but as you guys probably already know because you're so clever, the shoulder joint is really, really prone to injury. So I always start every shoulder session with these external rotations. I sometimes use the cable machine, but obviously we're at home here and not at the gym, so I've got this resistance band. I see some people doing them with dumbbells, but I think the issue when it comes to doing it with dumbbells is that you end up sometimes just swinging the dumbbell out and you're incorporating more of your bicep rather than the muscles that we should be, which is your infraspinatus. Please bear with me while I pronounce that. Your teres minor and the posterior fibers of your deltoid, not your bicep. Next exercise, very simple, it's the dumbbell shoulder press. Now this is a really simple exercise, but it's also really good for building up the shoulders. It's one of my favourite ones. The most important thing to remember is that you've got a flat neutral spine, and obviously as we're always remembering to protect our shoulders, you want to be driving up with your anterior delts, and I want you to make sure that when you're bringing that dumbbell up, I'm going a little bit too fast here. If I could go back and talk to myself, I'd say slow the F down. but I want you to make sure that your elbow is coming down and it's in line with your hips. Right, now in terms of reps and sets for these, I'm actually working with quite a lower weight than what I'm used to working with in the gym. So I'm actually going to be doing 4 sets of 12 for most exercises. But for something like this in the gym, I would normally work with 4 sets but of 8 or 10. Also, so annoying watching this back because you see the way my wrist is? I need to straighten that wrist out. Don't copy me there. Straighten your wrist, please, loves, when you're driving that dumbbell up. Thank you very much. Now, the crossbody front raise. This is another exercise focused on our anterior delts, not to be confused with a lateral raise. I know this one looks a little bit different because it's coming from across the body, but it is still a front raise. I really like switching it up sometimes, doing these crossbody ones, because they do encourage me to incorporate more of my core rather than just driving the dumbbell up in front of me. I feel like I don't get as much tension on the core there. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Soph, it's another exercise based on the anterior delt. I know, we're getting to the other deltoid heads in a minute. Hang on. This one is really fun, okay? Promise me. But yeah, so these are the plate drives. I really like these because when I'm doing these, I feel like I'm getting constant tension through my anterior delts. So I just like to just add them in. Sometimes I add them in as a superset to save time with a crossbody front raise or something like that. Just 4 sets of 30 seconds. Honestly, they feel really, really good. Right, something for the lateral head. Are you happy? Okay. I hate this exercise. This is the lateral raise. Now, I say I hate it, but it is really good for your lateral deltoid head. But I think because where the dumbbell is coming out to the side, they do feel a lot harder. So the main thing to remember is that you're keeping a good steady core and want to make sure you're not swinging that dumbbell and just using the momentum. Really try and control the movement. I mean, I'm trying my hardest there, but even now I want to say, slow it down a little, okay? And you should be bringing your dumbbell up to about shoulder height. I think I'm high. I don't know why I said that so weird. But yeah, I'm coming just short of a full range of motion there. So just make sure you're bringing that dumbbell up to your shoulder. Okay, well, if you thought the lateral raise was nasty, trust me, girl, you ain't seen nothing yet. As you can probably tell by my face, oh my God, this one is really, really tricky. This is a 6-way delt raise, and the clue is really in the name with this one. It is a raise just like the other 2 that we've done, but you're actually moving the dumbbell to 6 different positions. So the idea with this one is that you're actually going to be hitting your front deltoid, so your anterior deltoid, your lateral deltoid, and your posterior deltoid as well. So it is a really, really good shoulder exercise. This is one that if I was doing a quick shoulder circuit, I would add in, because in just the one exercise you are hitting all 3 heads of the deltoid, so it is really, really good, but it is, I find, very tricky. So I reduced the rep range on this from 12 to 10.
Day 2 is back day. Now, back is something that I have been very, very focused on. I'd say in the last year, I used to have a really weak back because I have really strong shoulders. I feel like my anterior delts took over everything, and it was really hard for me to engage with my back. So back has been a massive goal of mine, and you could tell it's been paying off because my back is now so bloody strong. And lat pull down, I think last time I went for a PB, about 90 kilograms. So, you know, are actually going to be 2 pull workouts in this training week, but this first one is just primarily all back, and then the second one is going to be a bit of back and a bit of bicep. So for this workout, you are going to need all resistance bands. There's no dumbbells in this one. So with this one, I'm using long tubular resistance bands with the handles on the end. You can get these on Amazon. That's where I got mine. I got a pack of 5 for like £20. It was the best purchase I've ever made. I don't know if they are still in stock anywhere because I think a lot of gym equipment sold out when obviously gyms went into lockdown and stuff, but I have done a whole video about the gym equipment that I have at home, so I will link that here and in the description box if you want to go watch that after this one. It's very helpful if I do say so myself.
Right, so we're kicking off with some rear delt flyers. Now, I never used to do these, and then we started doing them in physio with the cable machine, and let me tell you, they are killer. I really, really love them. I love starting my sessions with them. I normally do quite a high rep range, so like 12 or 15, and as you can see, I've got my resistance cable there, kind of like wrapped around. You can wrap it around anything like a door handle. I've got mine very carefully around the drainage pipe, but the important thing is that it is crossed over, and when you are bringing that back, it's not like a row. I want you to think of your elbows like you are pulling them back and out, whereas if it was a row, you'll be pulling them just back behind you. So our next one is a straight arm pull down, a slightly heavier band, and it's also higher up, as you can see. First things first, I want you to remember to set your damn shoulders before you pull down. And then when you do pull down, as you can see there, I'm bringing it down to about my hip height. The wheels are kind of in the way a little bit, so I could probably reach more of a range of motion if, you know, the wheels weren't there, but you know, we do what we can. And I want you to really squeeze your muscles as you are pulling them down. And it's almost comparable to almost like a skiing motion. You guys who use the ski erg often, you will understand when you do this exercise, it feels very similar to that pattern. Right, so this is the high cable row. And I think your setup on this one, you're probably gonna have to play around with before you actually get comfortable with it. So, you know, don't get disheartened if you're finding that like it's hard at first. So I found what really helps me is, you see the arm that I'm not using, that is the arm that is actually deciding your resistance. So the tighter that you pull it and the more you wrap it around your hand, the harder the exercise is going to be, because the more resistance that you are holding with that other hand. And as for the other arm, the arm that we are actually moving, I want you to be pulling it backwards, and I want you to be almost sticking your elbow out and then bringing it back towards your shoulder height. Right, now it's time for the big daddy of back exercises, everyone's favorite, the lat pull down. So with this one, obviously we're using the band the same height that I did at the cable, the high cable row, but with this one, obviously we're using both arms and we're bringing it down towards our chest, just like you would with a normal lat pull down. Now the setup on the seated row, as I mentioned before, I'm actually wrapping the cables around my hands there, as you can see, because I'm creating more of a resistance. This one can be quite tricky because obviously where you have like the stretch on it there, unless you wrap it around, you're probably going to find you're not going to get a good resistance on it, but I do find that really helps. Also, for a tip with these resistance bands, if you do want to up the weight, but you don't have like one that is just really thick and really heavy, you can actually lay the bands up so you can use more than one band at one time. Now, similar setup on this one, I've actually dropped the weight a little bit because I was getting really fatigued by the end of this workout. But this is 4 sets of 15, a similar exercise, but this is coming from a lower position. So the band is actually around the bottom of the drainage pipe here, and it's almost like you're doing a row, but you are pulling it up towards your chest rather than parallel towards your chest like the previous seated row. Now these for me are actually an alternative to bent over rows. So I did try doing like a bent over row out to the side with these resistance bands, but I just found it really hard to set up with the wheels and everything. It was really hard to get the band to actually stay on the floor and not ping away. So these for me are a really good alternative.
Okay, so Wednesday midweek, I'd like to break up Wednesday sessions with a core circuit. So now I get to midweek and I feel like there's a bit of like a slump and a bit of like a ugh, and I just don't have as much energy. So instead of doing like a proper full-on workout outside, I like to just do a quick core circuit. It only takes me about, well, less than like 20 minutes, depending on how much time I do for each set. I've never really been a fan of core circuits before because I always thought they were like just not that challenging. So it's really made me like have a think about devising core circuits differently and what I can do to make it challenging. And this one is killer. Like, trust me. Like, it was so hard. And it is completely body weight. You do not need anything. You just need your body and you need the floor or the bed, which is what I use.
I'm going to do 4 rounds of 30 seconds for each exercise. So that is 30 seconds of the straight body crunches. Then without a rest, you're going to go into 30 seconds of each exercise. After you've done that whole round, so 30 seconds of each exercise, you're going to rest for a minute. And then after that minute, you're going to get back in and you're going to do that again 3 more times. Now, as far as core circuits go, I don't regularly do them because I never really find them that challenging, but this one that I've created here honestly whoops my ass every time. So I have been adding this in every week and I do actually genuinely really enjoy it because I do find it quite hard, so be warned, it is very tricky.
Day number 4, chest and triceps, 2 muscle groups that actually get neglected quite a bit, you know. I hear so many girls say they don't train their chest and I'm like, but hun, it's such a big muscle group, what are you doing? Please train your chest. I actually love training chest and triceps, and the equipment that I use for this one, I think I use my resistance band and I use the dumbbells as well. But as I said before, if you don't have a resistance band, you can do a lot of these dumbbell exercises with the long resistance band. So I know there's an incline dumbbell chest press in there, and you can actually use that with a resistance band as well. So say if you're sitting on a chair, just make sure you've got something to like keep the resistance band down and you can just push up with the resistance bands. It is doable. If you've got, I said the bands are more important than the dumbbells, but if you have both, amazing.
So kicking off our chest and triceps day with this funny little exercise. This one is the pull of press. So to set it up, again, I've got the light resistance band wrapped around the drain, and you can see I've wrapped it around my hand quite a few times there to get a tight resistance on it. So with this one, it's quite a weird little exercise, and people normally get confused with the form on this one. So starting from this position, we're going to pull it towards the center of our chest and push out. So the main points of this exercise to bear in mind is making sure that you are using your core to stabilize yourself. You don't want to be leaning back into the chair or wherever you're sitting on, anything like that. You want to make sure that you're really using your core to stabilize that movement. Okay, so once we've warmed up our chest and our core, then we're going in with my favorite chest exercise. This is the incline dumbbell chest press, and I do one set of 12, so that is with the lighter weight, and then this is the heavier weight, so then I move up to do 3 sets of 10. The reason that I love this one so much is this is my main compound movement for my chest. As you can see, where I'm in the incline position there, I'm really trying to activate my chest muscles, really pushing up and squeezing with the chest and trying not to incorporate the anterior delt. Okay, now we're working a cheeky little bit of tricep. So this is a tricep extension. I'd normally do these on the cable machine, but what I've done there is basically just wrap the resistance band around my hand, and I've created a makeshift little cable machine. With triceps in general, it is quite a small muscle compared to the rest of our body, so normally people do struggle to engage with them. So any muscle like that, like tricep, rear delt, a muscle that is a bit smaller and I struggle to engage with, I always drop the weight, so that's quite a small weight there, and I move on to just doing higher rep ranges. Now this is actually a superset, so you can see I'm going straight into here, the plate pinch press. So this one here, I've got 2 smaller weights there pushed together, and I find putting the 2 plates together actually really helps, because the focus on this one is I really want you to imagine that you are squeezing these 2 plates together as you push them up. Really push them up to the air, but don't just push up, squeeze together as you're doing it. The setup on this one is a little bit more difficult, and it does take some getting used to, but if you've got someone there to help you, it does make it a lot easier, trust me. But this is a resistance band chest fly. Now obviously you would normally use the cable machine for this one, but just because we're using the resistance band doesn't mean it's any different. The premise is exactly the same. So as you can see, we're about to take, there we go, she's got it, come and go. Come and go. That's it. There we go. So we're going to take the handles and we're going to pull them out to the same position that we would if we was working on the cable machine. We're going to lean slightly forward, making sure that our back isn't leaning into the back of the chair, and we're just pushing the handles forward like that. Finishing up then with some more triceps. So this is the dumbbell overhead tricep press. So with this one, the main thing is just to be careful that you're not obviously swinging the dumbbell into the back of your head, because if you're trying to take the movement too fast and you're not controlling it, that is one thing that can happen. So slow the movement down on this one.
So our last session, going off with a big one, is back and biceps, my favourite workout like ever. I love it. As I said, I'm still making sure that I am training back twice a week. When I was at the gym before, I was actually doing a full upper body split, so I was training every muscle group each day. Obviously not like intensely so that I was fatigued on each muscle group every day, but now I've switched over to more of like a bro split. Again, I guess that's just what I'm feeling right now. With this back and bicep workout, I'm using again the dumbbells and the resistance bands, but as I have said I think 1,000 times before now, if you just have the resistance bands, you will be fine with this one. So you can easily do bicep curls with the resistance bands, and you could easily do hammer curls as well. Okay, second back day, kicking off with some resistance band high rows. As I said, some of the exercises are going to be similar, so you're probably going to see a few of them repeated, but that's because they're goldies and they should not be skipped. Okay, so this is another seated row, but this one's just a little bit different as we have got a static hold with it. So as you can see, my right arm there, I'm really pulling the resistance. I've pulled it quite tight, and I want you to hold that into position there as if you was about to row. The most important thing to remember is that when you're holding it is to actually hold it using your muscles, and do not lean your arm onto anything. Do not use something to take the pressure off it. Actually hold it and contract your muscle while you are still pulling with the other arm. And now finally a little bit of biceps, because I feel like they have been a little bit neglected this week. I'm sorry about that. We're going in with the 4 sets of 10 of the stiff arm bicep curls. Now when I say stiff arm bicep curls, all that means is basically making sure you've got proper form. I don't know what I'm laughing at there. Making sure you've got proper form, so keeping that elbow tucked into your ribs, making sure you've got your elbow tucked in like that. It's basically just going to prevent you from using momentum to swing the dumbbell, and it's going to encourage you more to actually contract the muscle. Then we're back in with the straight arm pull downs, same premise as before, making sure you've got a nice good resistance on there. I think with these ones I changed up my wrist position a little bit, so I'm still trying to play around with making sure I get the best resistance on it. And that's the thing with these home workouts, is they're not going to be the same
same as what you're normally used to, but play around, make sure your form's good, and you might find something that you actually really enjoy and you didn't know before. And we're finishing up this workout with some more biceps. I think I was so hungry throughout this workout. I think I just wanted to get it done. So we're going in with the 4 sets of the 10 hammer curls. These are so much more difficult than they look. My form is a little bit adapted there because obviously the wheel is in the way of the dumbbell, but normally you'd want to keep that dumbbell really quite close to you, but I have to obviously make sure that I can get as good a range of motion as possible.
Okay, now if you have made it this far, well fucking done. We are now at the weekend, and as I say, I like to take the weekend as a proper rest now. I feel like it gives my week more structure if I know that I've got the weekend and that is a rest and a break. And sometimes maybe I'll do a little core circuit on a Saturday or Sunday if I'm up to it, but if not, it's chill. It's a rest. It's the weekend. Yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful. If you did, if it was helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You know. Sorry, there's a field that opposite my house and there's dogs. So my attention is on the dogs, as I'm sure you can imagine. It's understandable. If you are going to try any of the workouts in this video, leave a comment down below and let me know which ones you're going to try. Personally, I think my favourite one was maybe back, because training back at home is very different. It's more about like focusing on engaging the muscle and the mind to muscle connection, whereas normally when it comes to back day, I'm like, just fucking go hard and heavy. But now it's more chill and more thinking about muscle engagement and mind to muscle connection, which is amazing. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to end this video here. But I hope you guys are keeping safe. I hope you guys are staying at home. I hope you are social distancing whenever and wherever you can. And I hope you're not stressing about not getting to the gym because, as I said, there's more important things to be worrying about. Do not add that to your list, okay? Okay. Yeah, take care. Have a good week. And I will see you in the next video. I will. Okay, see ya. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.